Hi, this is John Woodson again, and this is video number 2 in our series describing the parts of a utility or non-provisional patent. In particular, in this video, we're going to be talking about the drawings of a patent. Back to the example that we were using in our first video, the 8718549 patent. And I previously mentioned that this patent has a couple of different types of drawings. First, we see a device level drawing in figures 1 and 2. Then we see a flow diagram in figure 3, and then a system level diagram in figure 4. So at one level, the drawings are meant to correspond to what is recited in the claims. As we'll talk later in the claims video, you can recite different types of claims all directed to the same invention. For example, you can have a claim to a mobile device. You can have a claim to a method of making a mobile device. You could have a claim to a method of operating a mobile device. You could have a claim to a telecommunications system which utilizes one or more devices. And you can have a claim to a non-transitory computer readable medium, which is essentially the software or memory with computer instructions that run the device, the mobile device. So generally in a patent, you'll see drawings that correspond to each of these different types of claims. And as you'll see in a later video, that's exactly what we have here. These drawings correspond to what we're reciting in our different independent claims for the different types of embodiments that we're covering. One thing you'll notice about these patent drawings is that they're very schematic in nature. Patent drawings are different from engineering type of drawings or CAD type of drawings in that they're meant to highlight the features that are recited in the claims, not so much dimensions or other proportions that are more important for a manufacturing type of drawing or house plans, for example. That doesn't mean that you don't sometimes have more detailed and scaled patent drawings, but for the most part, they're not really required by the patent office and really aren't preferred. What is preferred is that you have drawings that show each of the features that is recited in the claims so that the examiner can have a ready reference to help him understand what it is you're talking about in those claims. And you'll see that each part of the drawing gets an individual reference numeral. And that's how we refer to those different parts when we're describing them in the specification. And then as you look at the drawings we have here in figure 3, the drawing in figure 3, this is what generally, the flow graph diagram such as this is what generally corresponds to your method claims. So here we have a method of operating the device, and you'll see that it goes through various steps and there's decisions that are made at certain points, and depending on what happens, you have different flow paths through this operational processing diagram. And then in our final drawing here, we have an overall system diagram. You see there's a cell tower with the mobile device and all its other components that helps fill in some of the details that weren't shown in the earlier drawings, which are focusing specifically on what is involved with for that particular invention. This is a more high-level system diagram that helps orient the reader as to all the components that they might find in the system, including the phone, the parts of the phone, the mobile communications device, as well as some of the cellular infrastructure in a cellular network. You might also have other types of drawings that don't directly correspond to the claims in a patent application, such as graphs or charts that help illustrate how it works or the advantages that it has. In a electrical circuit diagram, for example, you might, in an electrical circuit patent, for example, you might have a timing diagram that shows the various timing signals within the circuit, for example, to illustrate to the reader how the circuit actually works, to explain what it is that you're doing differently than prior inventions. So, depending on the technology, depending on the points that you have to illustrate, you'll have different types of patents, but the ones you see here in this case are pretty typical in terms of having a flow diagram, system diagrams, and then often device level diagrams. In our next video, we'll talk more about the specification.